A really big shoe. It's going to be a really big shoe. A really big shoe. Welcome, everyone, to the jubilant month of June, 2026 edition of The Impact, a Sustainable CT podcast. For your edification, your enlightenment, and your entertainment, too. I'm Jim Hunt, Communications Director at Sustainable CT, so if you're looking for someone to blame for this podcast, well, you can blame me. But remember, this is never a one-way conversation. We always want to hear from you for our edification and enlightenment. Drop us a note, won't you, to info@sustainablecT.org. The Impact is brought to you in part by the Connecticut Green Bank. The Connecticut Green Bank confronts climate change by increasing and accelerating investment into Connecticut's green economy to create more resilient, healthier, and equitable communities. And we are oh so glad they do. Visit them at ctgreenbank.com. Remember, we can't do what we do without you. We don't have a magical rainbow unicorn money tree, no sir, but you can support Sustainable CT's work and mission. Yes, you can. Find out how at sustainablecT.org. You'll be glad you did. We have a very special show for you today, and you don't often hear me say that, so there you go. Our community match fund just recently surpassed the $5 million mark in local community investment, and this is a really big deal. Does anyone remember Ed Sullivan used to say, "It's a really big shoe"? But really, this is a huge deal. Since its creation in 2019, the Sustainable CT Community Match Fund has invested in over 400 community-led projects in 88 Connecticut municipalities. Sustainable CT has matched $2.35 million of the $2.65 million raised by project leaders from over 27,000 individual donors. Yowza. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention a bunch of people and organizations who have made this thing work. Abe Hilding Solario, who was the first person to manage the Community Match Fund program, a great guy. He was followed by Joseph Dickerson. He's now working at DEEP, I think, yeah. And Inez Ortiz, too. She's moved on to the Naugatuck Valley Council of Governments. We do attract great talent, don't we? Yes, we do. And now Summer Mitchell is running the program, and she's doing an outstanding job. And I have to mention the funders, too. God bless the funders, because without them, this thing would have never gotten off the ground. And it sure wouldn't stay in the air now, that's for sure. The Hampshire Foundation, Connecticut Green Bank, supporting Organizing Work Connecticut, part of the Connecticut Council for Philanthropy, and the Emily Hall Tremaine Foundation. Oh, and let's not forget the Common Sense Fund. They were in at the beginning and helped for a very long time. Thank you, funders. The Community Match Fund, CMF, we like to call it, was created to further the impact of Sustainable CT's mission by empowering communities to implement local sustainability projects. And through this program, Sustainable CT matches local crowdfunding efforts dollar for dollar to assist in bringing community-driven ideas to life. And here's the thing, anybody can do this, anybody. The Community Match Fund is open to anyone in a Sustainable CT registered community, so any resident, organization, town, staff, or community group is eligible to apply. You can do this. There's not a lot of paperwork and reporting. We don't attach strings or make you jump through hoops. You call us up, talk to Summer Mitchell, who coordinates the program, and we find a way to get to yes. Really, that's how this thing works. Beautification projects, reclamation projects, composting, recycling, energy efficiency programs, cultural events, bike paths, tree planting, environmental awareness, social equity, farmers markets, pollinator gardens, community workshops, all the stuff. Just about anything you can imagine that would make your town, your community, your neighborhood a better place to live and work and play. The Community Match Fund was designed to be a welcoming and easily accessible source of funding for anyone with a good idea to improve their towns, said Lynn Stoddard, retired founder of Sustainable CT and the driving force behind the creation of the CMF. Our goal has always been to empower people who live in and know what is best for their communities and to shed the top-down traditional grant structures. That's what she said. And yes, we have her here with us today, the electrifying Lynn Stoddard, founder of Sustainable CT, mover and shaker behind the Community Match Fund, and all-around fabulous human being, to help us celebrate and talk about how all this got started. And that's not all. Heck no. Stay with us because in the second half of the program, our own doyen of the Match Fund, Summer Mitchell, will be taking over the big microphone to interview a couple of really great community match fund project leaders, Annie Geitner and Tom Martin, people who have used this program to do fantastic stuff in their communities. I'll tell you more about them at the break, so stay tuned, as they say, because it's going to be a really big shoe. A really big shoe. Enough of my tale of woe. Let's talk about this wonderful news, the wonderful news that we have surpassed $5 million in the community match fund.
It's amazing.
That is a big deal. Yeah, right? It's a big deal.
Yes.
I mean, and so did you, when you started this thing, and you started it, right? You did it. Yeah.
With a group of
You,
people.
you got
Yeah.
to own it. Yeah, but you own it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
What, did you ever, did you imagine it would be this big?
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
you did?
We
Okay.
created it for, yeah, we created to go big and continue and for years and make a big impact. So I think we've anticipated hitting this for a while, and
Okay.
I'm looking at 10 million. You guys
Oh,
got this.
I remember those halcyon days. I remember when we hit $2 million and Abe was still there and I was new and I said and I just kind of intuitively, I wasn't even all that conscious at the time of all the things, but I remember it seemed like to me to be a really big deal. And I said, Abe, this is congratulations. This is really great. This is a huge deal. You should be very proud of this. And he was like, I guess so. Yeah. I was like, hey, geez, come on. So it went, so when you started it, you thought this is going to be, this has a trajectory, a possibility of being really big down the road. And how did you come up with the idea?
Yeah, so we were fortunate to have, very supportive funders, and they were interested in expanding beyond the certification program to, let's call it a grant program in quotes. Our foundation is equity, access, inclusivity. And so a traditional grant program was just didn't feel right. We learned a lot from Sustainable Jersey when we were developing the program, as you know. I sat in on, I became a reviewer on one of their grant cycles just to learn about it, see how it went.
Okay.
They did a great job. They do a great job in everything, but it was the typical thing. We'll tell you what we want. You can apply for renewable water fillers. You can, whatever, this, that, tree planting, whatever. You apply as the town decision maker, and then, do all this paperwork, reporting, and whatnot. When people give away money, they want to have like this guarantee of lots of things and
Yeah,
lots of details.
sure.
And that has, in my opinion, strangled a lot of philanthropy. And being on the other side, always asking for money, we were so lucky at Sustainable CT to have funders, Tremaine Foundation, Hampshire Fund, Common Sense, Green Bank, and others who just trusted us. They said, we love your idea, we love your vision, go for it. And
Right. They didn't attach a lot of strings to it. They didn't ask you to do such and such. Yeah. Yeah.
right, it must not be like this, and that. You don't have to have this many towns this year, or we won't give you more money.
Yeah.
They believed in us. They understood it had to grow. So anyway, long story short is we wanted, based on, again, kind of our foundation and believing in the power of people and equity and reversing power dynamics, anyone with a good idea should be able to get money to change their community in the way they want. They know what's best for their neighborhood, for their town. They see the things that could use improvement. And so we began to think, how can we do that? And crowdfunding was a logical thing because that's kind of the basis of crowdfunding, right? Someone steps
Yeah.
forward and says, I have a great idea. So crowdfunding matched with the dollars we had through the community match fund to amplify, the crowdfunding, matching every dollar for dollar that was raised became kind of like what we thought would be the structure that would work. Of course, there were tons of details like how many donors do they have to have? How much money will we give per project? A million, kind of design program details that we just worked out together with Abe, our first person hired to run the community match fund. the funders, our crowdfunding platform partners, and so on. We just really did a lot of brainstorming. We got input from towns. And yeah, I loved the idea that we could just say, hey, Jim, you got an idea like for your town or your neighborhood? What needs happening? You say whatever it is. There's this rundown lot that's ugly and could be producing food. We say, great, we love it. It aligns with Sustainable CT's goals, and we'll set you up, we'll support you, we'll help you crowdfund, and then we'll match you dollar for dollar. And we're off and running. Yeah. So
So let me just, so you got this kind of the initial idea from Jersey. Like they were doing this thing, this grant program, but it was very prescriptive. Like
yeah,
they would say, here, you do this with the money and fill out all the forms. And, and crowdfunding at the time, a couple of years ago, it's not like ancient history, but I remember when crowdfunding was like the vibe. It was a big thing.
yeah,
Everybody was doing crowdfunding, mostly because our welfare state sucks. People will go out and crowdfund to be able to pay for medical care, God knows what all.
right.
But crowdfunding became a huge thing, like in the zeitgeist. And then so taking that concept and marrying it to what Jersey was doing with grants is genius to me. It makes makes perfect fit, makes sense. So then, but on the back of how actually procedurally it works, if somebody comes in and says, I have an idea to, put a mural up, it still has to come through. It still has to be vetted, right? It comes back
Right.
not just a willy-nilly and to say, oh yeah, sure, whatever you want.
Right.
It's coming in and you're kind of looking at it and going, okay, you gotta have to try to qualify some of these things, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
So that was kind of the design challenge. Once we figured out the structure, like crowdfunding with a match, we said, all right, how do we make that happen? It was tricky. There were some states doing similar things with crowdfunding platforms, but
yeah,
we really had to work all that stuff out. So, of course, it had to be tied to the certification program.
right.
So, Jim having an
That
idea
makes
for a
perfect sense. Yeah,
right, but it wasn't that easy because you having an idea to do a mural in a community space is great, but unless it's aligned with a specific action that the town can then get points for,
right.
it's not a unified program. So that was, a lot of discussions on how to do that, how to knit the two together, because we didn't want to give mayors or town managers the control to say, nah, we don't like Jim's idea. We don't want to do the mural. We basically wanted it to be a very grassroots community vision. So, they bought in, they loved the ideas from community, they still do, but we didn't want a point of like power where they could say yes or no.
Right.
And so instead we said, we made it easy. We have the call us up, tell us your idea, we'll talk about it on a Zoom. That's like much easier than submitting an application that takes years or
Yeah.
lots of time. And applications also don't favor people who aren't great writers. And so this was just a conversation. We could ask questions, we could get more information, they could bring in other people, whatever. So once we liked the idea, we knew it aligned with the actions in Sustainable CT. We said, okay, got to align with the actions, of course. And then they have to then reach out to the town. We want the connection actually to happen with the town. So the town, instead of saying yes or no, would say, hey, you know what? Someone else mentioned that idea. Let me connect you with them. Or we've got this nonprofit in town that's been working on something similar. Maybe they can help. Or we'll put it in our town newsletter so you can get, people to donate that way and get some visibility. So that was the link with the town. That's probably not worked as strongly in all cases as we would have wished. And it's a work in progress. But it did kind of establish that strong connection between the town as a helper and a supporter for the person and the people doing the crowdfunding.
Yeah. Because you're right, and we should say this, so not everybody knows, you don't have to be, you could be anybody in a town. You could be anybody. You could be an organization, you could be a church, you could be a school, you could be this, that, you could be just an individual and come up with
Right.
this idea.
Right.
So you don't have to be literally not necessarily connected with a town or town department. In fact, you're not supposed to, you're not going to be connected with it. It's not a town thing. It's not a town department thing.
Right. Towns can also apply for the money.
Apply. But it's, yeah,
And do it. But yeah, it's not a
right.
requirement at all. And it's atypical actually
Yeah.
that it's a town applicant.
What were some of the other challenges? I mean, we're growing, like kind of growing pains in the beginning. Now, one of the things I remember was that we got kind of hit by somebody saying, well, our town can't participate because we're not registered. Well, so how did that come out where you just have to get
Um,
the town registered with us and then we can work with you.
right.
So
Right. And the assumption was you had to be certified, that this was more of a
yeah,
reward thing.
right.
And so just messaging that, like, no, this is enabling, not
Yeah,
a reward. We
yeah.
want to help you do sustainability projects as a community. So, again, that was a kind of a communications messaging thing. Yeah, and some towns are hesitant to register because they think it's going to be a lot of work to get certified. So actually sitting down with them, I remember, yeah, a pretty intense meeting in Bridgeport way back when, where certain folks didn't want to join, they didn't want to pursue certification,
Right, and they
and
don't have to. It's like
they
nobody's
don't
twisting
have
your
to.
arm.
So I sat at the meeting, which was a committee of the town, and said, we don't care. You don't have to pursue certification.
Yeah.
We want to help great things happen in Bridgeport. You've got so many nonprofits and people doing things in the community. And actually, in that case, way back then, it was the nonprofits in Bridgeport that said to the city, you need to register so we have
Yeah.
access to money. And that was a great, yeah,
And that's
great
great. I mean,
leverage.
just as a from a communication side, I've always stressed the importance of the community and how if they're behind what we do, how in any respect, like even as just starting out with a community match fund, you register your town, that community input and engagement really helps. I mean, look at Bridgeport now. Bridgeport's
Right.
going gangbusters in
Yeah.
certification. I mean, not because
Yes.
anybody twisted their arm, just because one foot followed the next, and it was like, whoa, okay, now we have the community really behind all of this. They ended up they're doing great. They're doing great.
Yeah. And they've done a lot of community match fund
Oh,
projects down
yeah,
there.
yeah,
Yeah.
they have for sure. And that's the other thing I love about the community match fund. It really the distribution of it, both in dollars and impact and engagement. I mean, all the metrics is really statewide, and it's not like an elitist program. It's not like, oh, that's going to happen only in West Hartford or
Right.
that's not true. It's all over the place. I mean, these tiny towns and the large cities too, they all have projects going on, which is really
Yeah.
impressive to see on a map. Which,
That was another messaging challenge. Only rich people in rich towns will donate in
yeah,
crowdfunding. And we were keeping stats. I don't know what they are now since I've left, but we had more projects and more money going to distressed communities in Connecticut through the
yeah,
Community Match Fund than other towns.
that's still
And
true.
people were incredibly generous. And yeah, I mean, people maybe in more distressed communities are more apt to speak up and say, we need this, we need that, I want to
Right.
change this. And so we can make
Exactly.
that happen. We can make that dream happen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to name names in certain towns. I mean, but it's obviously true that certain towns need more love than others do, and that's quite obvious. And the community action, the community groups, and the individuals in those towns are going, all right, what resources do I have? Where can I go for help? And we're right there, so that works out great. Now, let's talk a little bit more about the funders, because it's impressive to me that they just came. I mean, I think it goes without saying your relationship with the funders really was what created sustainable CT in the first place. Because without them, we would I don't know how we'd be. But why did they get their arms around this without any issue? What
I
was
mean, they believed, our core funders, again, Hampshire Foundation, Emily Hall Tremaine Foundation, and
yeah
Common Sense Fund, had partnered together on things around community clean energy in Connecticut. That was the spot where they felt they could make an impact.
yeah
And so sustainable CT in general was co-created with them. They came to all the meetings. They had ideas of who could support us, what other states to look at, and so on. And then the Community Match Fund was new. No other states in our Sustainable States Network were doing funding this way. In fact, they kind of cautioned us like, oh, that sounds kind of scary. You don't have final reports. You don't have guarantees. And we were like, you know what? We're going to trust the process. And like we were able to say that because our funders were. I mean, Michelle Knopik, the president of Tremaine Foundation, was probably the strongest proponent of let's build something that flips the power dynamic, that gives a voice to anyone in a community who has a
Right.
dream and we can support it. And very involved in like thinking this through, not at all from like a funder, like I want it this way perspective, but just like I want to support you and make this happen. It's amazing. I mean, yeah, it gives me chills to think back on just how generous they were, not only with money, but with believing in us.
Yeah.
I always would thank them for like, you believed in us. Like you let us kind of go with ideas that were maybe a little risky and try them. And I just figured, hey, if we don't try it, like what good is it? And of all people, having to get money for sustainable CT, I had no interest in perpetuating like the typical grant funding thing on
Yeah.
people in a community. So the funders were key. They were amazing. They were familiar with some of the crowdfunding platforms, and we started talking to different platforms and we were kind of off and running.
Do you have any funny stories to tell? Do you remember anything going,
Yeah.
or not funny, but just like weird or just
Well,
odd?
as I think back, I do think about some of the first projects.
Yeah.
And so at the time, as you know, Sustainable CT was based and hosted by Eastern Connecticut State University in Willimantic. And one of the first projects, this older woman in town who worked on with the garden club came in to our office, talked to Abe and me, and said, I have an idea I want to talk about. And the interesting thing was she was the former Latin teacher of Abe and my kids in at E.O. Smith High School in Mansfield. She was local. So yeah, she wanted to do this, was not really good with technology, and we were doing this crowdfunding thing on, the computer. So Abe just sat with her. It was a beautiful thing, and
Wow.
like helped her set up the page and made it work. And the amazing thing is her project was tree planting along High Street in Willimantic, right near the entrance to the university and our office. And it was like a scrubby little crabgrass area on the side of the road between a main road and a house, a residential area.
Yeah.
And those trees, I don't know if you ever drive down there now, Jim, but those trees, it's lush, it's beautiful. They're like native trees with color and structure and height. And that was just a great project. She also, like crowdfunding, like I said, isn't really everyone's comfort level to give money online.
Sure.
I think they did like bake sales and stuff to pull money in and then, send the checks in so it would work out. So it was really I have a fondness for that project as the first one, the one close to us. Eastern students helped do the planting. It was all very community
If
spirited
she's
and a
your
great
old Latin
project.
teacher, you couldn't exactly turn her down because
No,
I,
well,
I
I
remember my
mean, it was just a
Latin
great thing.
teacher. Oh my God. Okay.
I mean, let's say my son wasn't her most stellar student either. But anyway, that was history. We're moving on to the next thing.
I guess where do you hope that ends up? Just to finish off where do you think it's going to end up? Going on and like you said, $10 million a year? Can it keep going?
I'd love to see that happen. I'd
Yeah.
love to see more folks in more towns taking advantage of it.
Yeah.
It's fun to see the creativity and the ideas people come up with and how they change over time. And they're all over the place, from local foods to art projects to
Does it ever?
transportation through repurposed bikes. I love it. So yeah, I think there's huge potential. I would love to see other states replicate it. It's a great
Yeah.
idea. It's a great program. And our partner at Patronicity is fantastic. Yeah.
Does it ever strike you that the dollar amounts are too small, that you wish it had a larger, I don't know, you could give away more money?
Well, at first we thought the funding would be a problem. So the dollar amounts being too small for a project, we started quite big
Okay.
and we brought it down, the
Okay.
project maximum, because we realized bigger projects are infrastructure projects that
Right.
need permitting. And it's just a different thing than you or me with an idea for our neighborhood.
I agree.
So we've kind of found the scale of the right
Oh, that
project,
makes
and
sense.
that's
Okay.
not a problem with dollars, I don't think. The infusion of money into the fund, I think, I mean, when I was there, we had interest from funders in more support for the community match fund. What was keeping us from expanding was people with great ideas knowing about this opportunity. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I
That is
think,
still a problem. It's
yeah,
getting the word out, making people know that this resource is available. So, it's like, here, please take the money, do the thing. You know,
right,
you can't give it
right.
away fast enough. Yeah, that is still an issue, trying to get
So,
people to understand it's there. Yeah.
anyone out there, folks out there in podcast
Yeah,
land
we got
listening to
money. Come
this,
get the money.
let's tell them. Email funding@sustainablecT.org and just say you have an idea, even if you think it's the craziest thing.
Yeah.
You're just going to set an appointment to talk to someone on
Yeah.
Zoom and share your idea, and they will coach you. It's not scary at all. It's
Yeah.
just like if you wanted to tell your friend or your partner, like, wouldn't this be a cool thing for our town if someone did this? That's
Yeah.
all it is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the
Absolutely.
awesome team at Sustainable CT will help you shape it, fill it in. They'll figure out how it aligns with the certification roadmap. They'll help you figure out how to get money, and it'll be doubled by Sustainable CT. So it's really very easy. And if it turns out that, for some reason the idea isn't quite appropriate, you've just spent 10 minutes on a phone call. Like, no big deal, right? You
Yeah,
haven't
and the
spent
fact
hours
is,
writing a grant application.
we're always trying to get to yes with these with people, and
Yes.
and it's an education. It's like somebody comes in with a wacky idea. I mean, it's just, I don't know, something off the wall. And if you can talk about it and come up with some different approach, it's like, oh, it's like revelatory. It's like, oh, I didn't realize I could do that or do it this way. And then we get to yes. And
Yeah.
we that's where we want to go. So even come up with anything, we'll talk about it. And we'll
Yeah,
probably help you get
exactly.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Jim, let
Lynn,
me just say one last thing, okay?
yeah.
Congratulations to everyone, to the team at Sustainable CT, to the amazing funders, to everyone. Like, what is it? How many people? 27,000 people have donated to these
Yeah.
projects
Yeah. More than
over the years. I
27K.
mean, every single person that's put $1 into this, congratulations. Like, this is amazing. There are projects across the state that are making our state better and more inclusive and just more interesting of places to be.
Yeah.
So really, a heartfelt congratulations to all. I'm just really, really happy to see the progress continuing and excited for the future.
Well, congratulations to you for having created this thing. And thank you for having done it, because that's important.
Absolutely. One of the greatest pleasures.
Okay, Lynn, thank you so much for doing this, and go have a wonderful time. And where are you going?
Going out to Montana.
Montana. Are you going to take the bikes? You going to take your bikes out there?
Yep. Yep,
Oh,
definitely.
excellent. Oh, that's the way to see it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be great.
And when I was out
Yeah.
there, I was on a motorcycle, so I had a motor under me. I don't know if I don't know if I could do it on it really too. There's a lot of miles, a lot of
Whoa, whoa,
miles
whoa. We
to
were going
cover.
in an electric vehicle, carrying bikes,
Yeah.
and then hopping out where we want to bike. So don't worry, we're not doing the whole thing by bicycle.
Okay. All right.
It'll be great. But
All
we're
right.
doing the whole thing by sun. So that's great. The power of the sun, hopefully fueling the vehicle. So that's good.
Thank you, Lynn.
Thank
Much
you,
appreciated.
Jim. Yep. Take care.
We'll return to our program in just a moment. You've been listening to The Impact, a Sustainable CT podcast. Oh, I hope you didn't miss it. We had our 2026 Spring into Summer celebration sponsored by Earth Forward Group at the Hillstead Museum in Farmington on June 11th, and it was a stellar event, really. The staff at Hillstead couldn't have been more supportive. The museum itself, the Hillstead House, is very cool, and if you haven't been there yet to see it, you really need to check it out. We had a capacity crowd show up for the festivities, and a good time was had by all. Yes, it was. We want to give a big shout out to all the funders that made the event possible. Our gold sponsor, Earth Forward Group. Their goal is to provide business and advisory services that promote sustainable growth. What a tremendous group of people, really. To our silver sponsors, Capital for Change and Reworld. To the bronze sponsors, Titan Energy, Liberty Bank, Clean Transportation Communities of Southern Connecticut, Cella Waste Systems, and Energia. And to our friends and supporters at Power Options, Connecticut Water, All American Waste, the UConn School of Public Policy, and Switch Together. We cannot do what we do without their support. And let's not forget why we were there to begin with, right? A hearty congratulations to our spring certified communities, bronze certified towns of Bloomfield, Branford, Clinton, Cromwell, and Westbrook, and silver certified Bridgeport, Preston, and Woodbridge. Huzzah and congratulations once again, and keep up the great work. If you did happen to miss this event, do check out a recording of the speakers on our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/@sustainableCT. Did you catch that? youtube.com/@sustainableCT. Okay, let's get back to the topic du jour, the Community Match Fund, because as I promised, I'm going to shut up and you'll get to hear from my colleague, the one who makes the whole thing work, Summer Mitchell. She'll be talking to Annie Geitner, project leader of the Meat on the Street project in the lovely town of Vernon, and Tom Martin, who heads up the remarkable West Hartford Tree Project. And as you'll hear, they've got lots of other stuff going on as well, and some cool things planned for the future too. Do your town a favor and listen to how they did this, what their experience with the Community Match Fund was like, and then get out there and get your own project up and running, and we'll be right behind you every step of the way. Take it away, Summer.
Tom and Annie, thank you so much for chatting with us today. We're so excited to have you both here as two of our Community Match Fund project leaders. Just to kick us off, why don't you both tell us a little bit about yourself and the work you've done with the Community Match Fund and your projects. Annie, how about you kick us off?
Sure. Thanks, Summer. I work in the town of Vernon. I work in our land use department. I've been a part of 3 Community Match Fund projects so far. My first one was actually when I was an intern, the sustainability intern in Vernon, and we did a match fund project for our farmers market to bring it back. And then the other 2 were for a street festival, and then we have one running right now.
Very exciting. And Tom, we'd love to hear a little bit about the West Hartford Tree Project and Center Streets.
My name's Tom Martin. I'm in West Hartford, and I've been part of 2 community match funds. Like Annie, we also did a street festival, and that was through our local 501c3 nonprofit, Bike West Hartford. We do an annual Center Streets Festival where West Hartford Center is closed off to car traffic for a day. And it's a great community building event where kids come out, it's usually the last weekend before school. It's going to be actually the first weekend after school starts this year, so it should be fun. There should be more kids in town. We have, walking puppets, Nightfall puppets from Hartford come out. We have 3 bands this year. We have local vendors. The restaurants give deals, and it's just a way to kind of showcase the center and you can just bike down the middle of the road, and it's great to see the smiles on kids' faces when they do that. I'm part of another nonprofit as well in town. It's a 501c3, the West Hartford Tree Project. And that is basically to improve the tree canopy in West Hartford. And we have a mission to source and distribute over 1,000 native trees every year to West Hartford residents. And we normally give those trees away on Arbor Day weekend. So those are our two programs.
Incredible. I know you've given away a lot of trees over the past 5 to 7 years or so with West Hartford Tree Project. If you had to make an estimate as to a lifetime number, do you have an estimate?
Oh, I would say,
Not to put you on
yeah,
the spot.
no, definitely. Well, over 6,000.
Wow.
Yeah, I would say even more. And so, and it's changed a little over time. We've evolved. And so, in the beginning, we were started by two local educators, Ted and Carolyn Gorner, who just kind of saw the dramatic loss of tree canopy in our town. And so they went with, but basically like small seedlings that have kind of a low survival rate. And in recent years switched to potted trees, which have like a much higher survival rate. And so obviously they cost a little bit more, so we still give out over 1,000. But there were years where we gave out, I think, about 2,000, 3,000 bare root seedlings. Yeah, so there's a lot of them out there. And actually, one of the bare roots is in my yard from 2022, and it's my daughter, who is 2 years old at the time, helped me plant it, and it's taller than me now. So it's kind of a nice little family benchmark.
Oh, that's so wonderful. I love to hear that. Such an amazing impact your group has made in West Hartford. So as you both know, we're recording this podcast today to celebrate the Community Match Fund crossing that $5 million invested mark. This is an incredible milestone for our program. What does that mean to you, and how impactful was the match fund to your community? How about Annie?
Yeah, that's just an incredible number of, dollars right into communities. And I mean, specifically for Vernon, it's really helped us, bring projects around that maybe wouldn't have been able to come without this match fund. You know how municipal budgets work. Like sometimes the money's just not there for the project that year. And, sometimes you just don't want to wait. So bringing the farmers market back was like a huge success. It had been gone for probably like 10 years or so. And, there was a real want for it back in the community. Farmers markets are such a great place to gather, and, you support local farmers and you support local ag and small economies. And we really would not have been able to do it without the match fund because of, budget constraints. And it had not been a line item for so long in the budget. And we were able to sort of get that seed funding from the match program. And now it's our third year, and we're increasing and expanding, and it's really great.
Third year. That's
Yeah.
so exciting to hear. Just curious, did you find that when you were kicking it back up again, that crowdfunding was a helpful way to kind of get the word out, since we're looking for local investment?
Yeah, of course. Especially with the farmers market, people were really excited that it was coming back, and it was great to sort of announce it in that way. But also, like for projects like our Meat on the Street Festival, which is like a brand new idea, it was great to like sort of have a goal for people to like reach towards, having that number goal, like being like, hey, we get to here, we're going to have a great street festival, it's going to be so fun. And the way that Patronicity is set up, it's a great storytelling tool. So we really were able to like tell our story in such a concise manner on the page that it kind of acted as our like really our home web page for like a long time before we got the event started. So it's a great tool that we really enjoyed using.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. And Tom, how about you?
Yeah. First off, congrats, Annie, on your success, and Summer, obviously, on 5 million. I think that's amazing. I think this program has been so instrumental just for West Hartford, and just, I mean, Connecticut as a whole. It's just been so great. I mean, I don't think the tree project would have started if this wasn't in existence, right? Because not only are you giving a match, and we can say, if you give X amount of dollars, that buys a tree. But not only that, but sustainable CT will match a tree, right? And it's just this very tangible thing that just kind of builds interest in the community. And not only that, but like just having a crowdfunding coach that knows the ropes and knows how to create a professional looking campaign and help us make us look like we know what we're doing is really, really helpful. And so that's been instrumental, especially for the West Hartford Tree Project for the past 5, 6 years. So yeah.
Yes, thanks for saying that. For those listening who don't know, when we connect project leaders with Patronicity, they are connected with a crowdfunding coach for free to use as a tool and a resource for crowdfunding, setting up their crowdfunding page, crowdfunding strategies. How did you both find working with the crowdfunding coach? Helpful? Did you learn a lot?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start. I mean, I mean, really helpful because not only do they give the first, hour kind of meeting, like, and basically talk to us, like, what do you want to get out of your campaign for your community, right? And so we get to kind of describe what what our mission is and what our goals are, and they really help us translate that to the page. They help us select, obviously good photos and wording and all that kind of stuff that will actually speak to community. So it's really helpful, and not only that, but just, I mean, so responsive after the fact as well. Whenever I had a question, I could just reach out to obviously Sustainable CT or my crowdfunding coach, and that's just really, really, really invaluable.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Our crowdfunding coaches have been like invaluable resources, but also like the materials they give you, like you get a whole packet and you get like a calendar for your crowdfunding. They like show you how many different strategies you can use. For our most recent campaign for the Meet on the Street Festival, we really deployed one of the strategies was to like have events to raise money. So we partnered with a lot of our downtown businesses we had 3 separate events to raise money for specifically for the campaign. So we did like a special motorcycle day at the New England Motorcycle Museum, and just the reach of that museum is huge. We had probably 400 people come, and all of them, the museum was super, gracious, and like the price to get in, they ended up donating all of that to the campaign. So it was like a super great event. And we would not have thought of that without having our campaign coach being like, hey, use the assets that you have in your downtown, use the community partners that already exist. So that was really, really helpful for our overall campaign.
Yes, our crowdfunding coaches have been wonderful, and I'm so glad that you both had the same experience. Kind of looking at Tom here, you're very deeply involved in your community. I would love to know how you got involved with both of your projects.
Oh, that's an interesting question. I'm actually fairly new to Connecticut. I moved here 6 years ago with my young family. And yeah, and I had a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. And yeah, and we didn't know anybody in the state of Connecticut. And so we really wanted to find ways to get involved. I've just always had a love of trees. And so Ted and Carolyn Groner just kind of took me under their wing, and I helped as a volunteer at first because I saw what they were doing and their mission. One thing I didn't mention was even West Hartford did a study, and in the past decade, we've lost over 20% of our tree canopy in West Hartford. So it's really helpful to restore that. And I don't know, it's a feel good kind of thing to be out there with the community, doing something very tangible, putting trees in the ground and just building awareness, in the same token. So my kids are school age as well. And so they want to walk to the library. They want to go get ice cream. They want to go to school. Right. And so creating safe streets for my children and just for everybody, elderly and stuff like that in the community that may not be as quick crossing the road was a really important issue to me, because I live off kind of a main road and I could see the cars just flying by and without any crosswalks and stuff. And so West Hartford's been taking a lot of important steps towards improving pedestrian and bike safety and doing outreach to schools. But yeah, it does take, obviously community input and guidance as well. And so I got involved with Bike West Hartford, who has a mission to improve biking, walking, and transit for all. And part of that is obviously our Center Streets festival. And so that's building the community and just getting people like out and active. And not only that, but West Hartford Center does not have have like a picnic benches to sit under a tree with like a little playscape and stuff. And so when we do Center Streets, we bring out games so the kids can play games in the streets and just kind of show people what a asset we have in West Hartford Center. So yeah.
Absolutely. I feel like you're really highlighting the fact that residents know best what is needed to make their community more safe, accessible for everyone to live in. So you kind of moved to Connecticut and jumped right into the sustainability space, and that's awesome to hear. To Annie, How did you find the crowdfunding process, raising half your budget, getting the support of the community for your community event-based projects? Do you have any takeaways?
Yeah, I think with crowdfunding, like when we started, obviously when we started for the Meat on the Street festival, we had run one for the farmers market the previous year. And so I think with crowdfunding, sometimes it happens is like you go to the same wells of funds. So like the same people are donating to all the projects. And we wanted that to be really different this time. We wanted like full community support. Basically, the whole idea of the festival was like an event for the community, supported by the community, basically funded by the community, which is what it ended up being because we used the match fund project. But really, I'll go back to using the events to supplement the crowdfunding. I mentioned the motorcycle museum event, but we also did we have a local pottery studio here, and they were a partner in our cultural district and a partner in our downtown. And we did a Valentine's Day themed couples event there that was able to raise a good portion of our goal. So just like sort of creating a sense of excitement in different like little pockets of people. So we used the motorcycle museum to create excitement, like come down, bring your bikes to the event. Like that'll be really great in the summer for a summer ride. And then, the Meat on the Street Festival is arts and culture focused. So having an event at the Pottery Studio was a great way to get in touch with local artists and people who are creative and say, hey, we're having this event in the summer, like definitely come out. So I think the biggest takeaways was like really spreading the message like as far and wide as you can. And, we just found that we actually had so much more support for the event than we initially had thought. People were really excited. Everyone loves to get out of their house and do something. So the event really lended itself to that. So we were pretty successful, I'd say.
Yeah, and there's a couple more Meat on the Street Fest events occurring. Is that correct?
Yeah, we just had our first one in May. It was a super successful. Where we do the event, it's actually a vacant mill lot. Like it used to be a former mill. So we're sort of activating an empty space, which is really exciting when you drive through downtown. That's normally like, it's just a parking lot. But then, one night a month, one evening, it comes to life with, performers, food trucks, vendors, and just like people having an overall great time. So we have one June 18th, which is next Thursday. And then our last one is July 16th. So they're all Thursday evenings. So sort of gives you something to do in the middle of the week. It's not a Friday night, but like you can have fun on Thursdays. So it really works out.
Absolutely. A lot to look forward to in Vernon this summer. Kind of in turn with this conversation, you talked about crowdfunding and getting the support of the community. Did you have any challenges that might have occurred along the way?
Ooh, no, I mean, honestly, I mean, what I was saying before, I mean, really, I would say, I mean, no, I mean, sustainable CT and the crowdfunded coach just make it so seamless. And you really do find when you throw these ideas out there and that they're obviously structured within the patronicity campaign that people really kind of they love it. I mean, I think there's really a desire for these community focused kind of events and things. And so, I mean, just even with the West Hartford Tree Project, I mean, I think we meet our match within weeks. I mean, it's not even within the 90-day period. And then on Arbor Day weekend, like we'll have it at just a resident's house where we'll have over 1,000 trees lined up in the front yard. And they're in small, like 1 to 2 gallon pots. But it's amazing how many you can fit in a front yard. And we'll have a line down the street of people just coming with their whole family, just waiting to pick up a tree. And so little kids will come in and they'll like pick up the gallon pot, show they could carry it back to the car and stuff like that. And they're eager to plant it that day. But no, I mean, honestly, thankfully, knock on wood, we have not had any challenges, and it's been really, really well received. And we've seen support from our town as well, both in Center Streets, who've been very supportive of what we do, and they lend a lot of resources to what we do because we have to close streets, right? So we have to work with the fire department, with the police department, and even just the local businesses, right, who have parking traditionally in front of their businesses, and so to do outreach to them and stuff like that about that one. So yeah, luckily I'm gonna say, knock on wood, no challenges. It's been really a lovely process and a great resource.
Wow, no challenges. That is, I mean, I'll take it. That is wonderful to hear. And yes, I have seen pictures of Arbor Day, Distribution Day, as you described, with all the potted trees and people lined up down the block to grab a free tree. If anyone hasn't seen them, they're on the West Hartford Tree Project's project page on Patronicity. You have to check it out. It is a sight to see. Annie, any challenges? We're on a
Yeah.
high right now, but be honest.
Of course. Yeah, Tom, that's an amazing visual. I haven't seen the pictures, so I will go check them out. But like 1,000 trees in somebody's yard, like I can't, I'm eager to see them. Challenges, I mean, I would feel like, we for the Main Street or the Meat on the Street project, like we're looking for some larger donors to be like sponsors of the event. And I would say that in those senses, like a lot of times you're going out and you're like asking people like, hey, would you want to be a sponsor for the event? And asking for money is always like that little bit like uncomfortable moment. But the crowdfunding coach, again, and all the materials that they give you, like they really do like coach you on how to approach people and like how to center somebody's business in the mission of your event or in what you're trying, your goal. And they really do like a fantastic job coaching you. So we actually ended up getting a bunch of sponsors who donated larger sums to our project, which was great because we ended up raising like 1,600 over our goal, which was fantastic. But I mean, I have to agree with Tom, like the process is really streamlined. It's like super, super well, thought out by, Sustainable CT and Patronicity, and the coaches they're just great.
Oh, that's so kind. So, yeah, we're just gonna end on a high note and cut the challenges conversation here, I think. Great stopping point and kind of pivot to either of you. Do you have any advice for folks who might be thinking about running a future community match fund project or anything you wish you knew before you started a campaign? Or you also are both repeat project leaders, so anything you may have like adapted after your first or second campaign, going in later.
I would say, I mean, obviously, I think our campaigns have improved every year with our patronicity, our crowdfunding coach. As far as adapted later, we've definitely built on our programs, and so we've been able to procure obviously more trees with the tree project and with Center Streets. Since fundraising, to be honest, for Center Streets, because we've been doing Center Streets since before patronicity, so I guess we have like a little bit of a before sustainable CT matching fund.
Yeah, is
And
this your
after,
8th year?
yeah, well, it's longer, 2016, so 10th
Oh,
year.
happy
Yeah,
10th
yeah.
anniversary.
Yeah, it's our second year doing it with the community matching fund, and honestly, fundraising and organizing was a challenge in prior years, and mostly because we didn't have a centralized tool to take in donations. We didn't have a centralized platform to direct people to tell them about what we were trying to do and what we were trying to build. And so a lot of it relied on business sponsorship and business outreach. So basically knocking door to door in the center and trying to get enough money, but not kind of just cutting it close. And with that, I think the event also probably suffered a little bit, because if we were doing fundraising to the very, very last minute, we, obviously we're volunteer organizations, right? We had very limited time to actually plan the event. And so that means, because you need porta potties out there, you need the water cooler system, right? The MDC brings a water wagon out. We didn't have games really before. Now we have 3 bands. We only had 1 band prior to Sustainable CT. We have a lot of games, and we're going to have even more coming, like yard games and stuff like that. And so, yeah, just that the stress of organizing the event was mitigated. And now we have like a planning team, because the crowdfunding is kind of like almost like taken care of. It's really, really great. And so now we can actually focus on like what makes the event awesome.
Awesome to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say that every campaign we've run or that I've been a part of has like progressed. We've gotten more efficient. Our pages look better. We're better at storytelling, but Really, I think that being as part of the town, like we use the town's social media a lot to like publicize these campaigns and the events that we're doing. But realizing that, not everybody's on social media. You reach way less people than you think you are. So actually going out into the community and doing outreach that way. So for the Meet on the Street Festival, obviously we wanted to get the word out about the actual event, but for the crowdfunding, like we attended like meet and greet days in the library, or we went to the Greater Vernon Holistic Health Fest. So where there was like large volume of community members, we went to them instead of having them come to us. And then whether or not you make a donation that day, like you're having conversations with community members about these events and, about the things they want to see in Vernon, which is really great to get that sort of like boots on the ground feel, and you get that, direct feedback. So I would say like as each campaign we've done that strategy more and more. Yeah. And I would say that's really where we've, seen the most success.
Yeah, definitely meeting people right where they're at is a great way to get the word out about whatever initiative or project you're trying to spread.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I want to echo what Annie said as well, if you don't mind. But basically, so we had our Celebrate West Hartford, our town festival the other day. And so Bike West Hartford put out a bike corral in front so people could bike to the center and we'd watch their bikes for free. But we also had a tent. And so we could talk about center streets and give out little flyers to tell them what it was about and what we were trying to do. And yeah, we raised a lot of interest in the event just through that. But yeah, just meeting people where they are, and it just helps.
That's awesome. A bike corral. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I mean, so Celebrate West Hartford, I think, and don't it tracks thousands of people across the
Yeah.
state under this, but yeah, and so we put a bike, so we put I think maybe 8 bike, the bike corral things where you can just park your bike. We have a tent out there, and we sit and we put a ticket on your bike, and you go to the festival. You don't have to lock it, and we watch it all day. And we parked over 400 bikes just this past weekend. And so, yeah, whole families were coming to celebrate West Hartford, and they could just walk right up to the fair. And yeah, it is, I don't know, it's just cool. Instead of like circling around, trying to find parking, all that kind of stuff, you can just bike right in. So yeah, it's a really feel good thing.
Oh man, 400 bikes. That is super nifty. Have
A lot.
yeah, have you done that anywhere else, or is this a new kind of thing you were trying out?
It's so Bike West Hartford's been doing that for the past few years at Center Streets, I'm sorry, at Celebrate West Hartford. We have not tried a bike corral at any other major event, but yeah, I mean, we'd be open to it. I think, yeah, I think it's a great thing. So yeah.
Very cool. Thanks for sharing. And then I just want to highlight that having you both here is kind of extra exciting because you actually both have projects live right now. Could you tell us a little bit more about these? I know, Tom, you've already alluded to Center Streets, but yeah, just tell us a little bit more about these fabulous projects we have to look forward to this summer. Annie, can you kick us off?
Yeah, so we are about 30 days into our Threads of Community mural project campaign. So we're putting a community mural up in the heart of our downtown cultural district. It's going to be super exciting. Vernon is a strategic priority right now is to revitalize our downtown. We currently have some mill redevelopment going on, which is a massive, really long-term project. But we're doing like smaller projects like this to sort of, bring people back into our downtown, keep them here. We want people to spend time here. So we're doing sort of a mural project on, basically it's like a perfect location. It's right at the entrance of our downtown. We did a lot of community engagement for this project. We want a mural that reflects the people that live here. So we did a lot of drop-ins in community businesses. We went to the laundromat. We went to Cornerstone Foundation, which is our local soup kitchen. And we just talked to people about like, hey, what does Rockville mean to you? What does community mean to you? How do you feel about this theme, Threads of Community? For anyone that doesn't know, Vernon has a pretty deep manufacturing past. We were a former mill town. So Threads of Community is sort of like a nod to that, with also like a look towards the future of like where we're going to be going in the next 10 years. So we are actually we're trying to get a local artist. So we're going to be releasing like a request for proposals, sometime soon. So if you're a muralist or a large scale artist, we definitely would encourage you guys, somebody to apply. But yeah, it's really exciting.
And I saw you have a survey on your project page also. Is that another way that you're collecting feedback for the design?
Yeah. So while we're doing in-persons, like communicating and surveying, we're also doing online. So if you don't catch us at a community drop-in, you can go to our campaign page and take our survey to sort of give input on the type of mural you'd like to see in Rockville.
Yeah, and if it's confidential, that's okay. But can you give us any spoilers as to what the mural is going to be, or has it not been determined yet?
I don't know.
No pressure.
We have the general theme, threads of community, but the people that are sitting on our selection committee, we're not artists. So we're really we're letting that theme be very broad, and artists take that as they will and run with it. So we're excited to get proposals. I'm hoping we get a lot of big variety of things.
All right. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
That's awesome, Annie. Yeah, I mean, for ours right now, we're about 50, maybe 52 days into Center Streets 2026, and yeah, we've already exceeded our goal by over $1,000. So we're really excited about that. And so yeah, basically what it is, we close West Hartford Center to car traffic in a loop, and so people encouraged to walk, bike, stroll, scoot around the center. We especially kind of advertise to young families. It'll be August 30th this year from 9 to 1. And yeah, we'll have bands, we'll have like bubble machines, we'll have I think we did an e-bike showcase last year, because e-bike cargo bikes are kind of becoming more and more popular in town. And so, we just park them on South Main Street, and we have a few folks kind of talking about the e-bikes and stuff like that. But yeah, it'll be a really fun event. We'll have, obviously the businesses have chipped in as well. They're going to do specials and stuff like that. And it's just going to be a really fun day. I think it's the first weekend after West Hartford schools go back. So yeah, really excited about it. I'm sure we'll probably exceed our turnout this year. We've had over 2,000 people in the past. Oh, one other thing, actually,
Wow.
we do a project to extend the, so we have a Troutbrook Trail, it's called. It's a multi-use path that extends north to south through town. And we're kind of incrementally expanding that as it goes. Hopefully at one point it's actually going to connect to Hartford and then down to New Britain. And then you can actually maybe connect over to the Farmington Canal Trail as well. But yeah, so there's a gap between the Troutbrook Trail up Farmington Avenue to West Hartford Center. And so if you want to ride your bike to the center, it's really hard to do. And so with the Sustainable CT, matching grant, we actually helped pay for a pilot project to go up to West Hartford Center. And so we're going to continue that again this year with cones and obviously police presence, so people could bike in to the event and not have to drive their bikes to just drop them off and then bike the center. They're able to bike in the Troutbrook Trail. So we're really excited about that one.
That's incredible. That kind of gives people access to from Farmington almost, correct?
It's true. Yeah. And and the town's actually monitored its use. And so I think over 400 people used it the first year we did it. And so, because of this program, it's actually going to become permanent. And so the town is investing in making that extension permanent, hopefully later this year. So it should be available in the fall, not in time for Center Streets, but afterwards. So, yeah.
That's okay. That's so wonderful to hear and exciting. Do you find that folks are coming to Center Streets mainly from West Hartford? Are you seeing a lot of people come from out of town, or just a mix?
It's a mix. Definitely mostly the Hartford region, and obviously mostly West Hartford. But it's definitely a mix. And so I think one thing we could probably do better about is just outreach, like to a broader community. Obviously we have a newsletter, we have a social media platform, and so we have those mechanisms. But being Bike West Hartford, it's just, I don't know, it just naturally, I think, attracts maybe a very local audience. But yeah, so mostly West Hartford residents, but anybody and everybody is welcome to come out. We'd love to have you. Again, it's August 30th from 9 to 1. It's going to be a really fun day.
So exciting. There's so much to look forward to this summer. And then just lastly, anything to look forward to from West Hartford Tree Project this coming year?
Yes, we actually, so we actually have to meet with the board, but no, we're hoping to expand it. So we've done 1,000 native trees every year. So we are hoping to do that again next Arbor Day. But yeah, we do have ideas for hopefully getting more trees in the ground, maybe doing a little bit more educational outreach. But everything's kind of, just ideas at the moment. But we're definitely coming back for another Arbor Day big distribution again next year, because it's just been so fun and exciting.
Heck yeah. Well, that's an exciting note to wrap us up on. We are at time, but thank you both for chatting with us today. This has been so wonderful. Thank you both for your amazing community impact. It was so great to hear about that today. And thanks to everyone who listened.
Thank you, Summer. Thanks, Danny. Nice to meet you.
Yes, thank you guys. It was great to meet you, Tom.
Thank you.
We hope you've enjoyed today's edition of the Impact, a Sustainable CT podcast. This program was written, recorded, edited, and produced by me.
And me, Summer Mitchell.
As always, it is copyrighted by Sustainable CT. Thank you for your interest. Thank you for listening. Thank you to our sponsor, the Connecticut Green Bank. Thanks to our guests, the fabulous Lynn Stoddard, Annie Geitner, and Tom Martin, for everything they do to make Connecticut and our world a better place. And thanks to everyone for taking local actions that have a statewide impact. Go ahead, give it a shot.
And me, Summer Mitchell.
Do it again.
Yeah. Give me a moment. And me. So no. Okay, last time. Third time's the charm. And me, Summer Mitchell.
Perfect.